Philadelphia, are you ready?
They said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome, everybody, to Brotherly Love Wrestling. And on this edition, we're going to cover from AEW to, of course, the Survivor Series and the farewell to The Undertaker, the final farewell. To start for now, yeah, as much as a final farewell there can be for The Undertaker.
How many final farewells have we had?
Oh, well, this is the first final farewell.
But how many farewells have we had?
At least two
this is like,
before this.
It's like Ozzy Osbourne, like the second to last ever tour, whatever the hell he had.
Or Motley Crue with their last ever tour three different times, or Kiss, however many farewell tours.
It's like all those old people that just don't know when to quit.
But I think it's Vince who doesn't know when to quit. I think Taker.
I think he has a say in the matter.
He does. He could say no.
He could.
Yeah.
He could have easily said no back when Lesnar ended the streak.
Or when Roman beat him at 33.
Yeah, well, we all know why. I mean, now that they did the behind the scenes, we know why, because he wasn't happy with it. That's why I'm saying he should have ended it when he put on a good performance, and that was it.
Yeah.
He should have ended it at the end of an era. He should have ended it right after Triple H in the Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
That's when that should have been it. No
agree.
more, because that was perfect.
Yeah.
That was damn near perfect. And that told another year-long story from the first meeting to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And it was the end of an era. All three of them. That was the end of that era. And they couldn't fucking do it. They just don't know. They just keep revving and revving and revving until the engine blows up.
Yeah, but
you got to put oil in the tank sometimes.
At least this for The Undertaker. The Undertaker. Maybe not American Badass, maybe not Mark Howell. Either way, the character of The Undertaker, I don't think we're going to see anymore.
Well, here's the thing. You know his behind the scenes and how he's not happy when, like, it's not how he planned it or not how he wanted it to go.
Yeah.
Do you really and honestly think he wants to go out with nobody there to see it?
I think at this point, there's
has
no
to
option.
be?
Yeah, I think at this point there's no option, especially with that character. The Undertaker itself, I think, is
why
done.
he's not going to be doing anything for a while. I mean, they could have just kept it and not.
I agree.
And not had him fare well.
But there's only one 30th anniversary.
So all the stars aligned and the numbers ran together and everything was perfect. So this was the time to do it.
Yeah, because the exact same day, 30 years.
Does that outweigh there not being anyone in attendance to see it? Does it just all the numbers lining up and everything being perfect? Does that really make up for the fact that this is it for you? And no one got to see it live. No one got to be there. You didn't get to feel the energy because those filtered in fucking chants.
Yeah.
It would have been deafening. It would have been deafening, and Taker he would have been able to feel that. I feel like he was just obviously he was scripted, and he wasn't able to put any emotion behind it. Like there was no emotion because there was no fan.
He looked pretty emotional in the ring.
He did, but he didn't sound.
Yeah,
like that Taker. Like, cause it's just you go out, you're gonna go this amount of time with the fans there. That drags on for another 20 minutes.
Is that really what you wanted, though?
Yeah,
20 minutes of him standing in the ring while people.
I think there would have been more behind it. I think there should be more with people there than just 3 words.
You could still do an.
This was the final farewell.
I was gonna say you can't do an Undertaker appreciation because it is the final farewell to the Undertaker, the character.
This was the appreciation.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal because I think it was done as perfectly as it can be.
I don't think it's a big deal, but I think they did it and they shouldn't have. Like I'm not saying run another promotion and do another angle or anything like that. Although with the cinematic stuff, I mean, they could have done one more.
Yes.
They could have held out and tried to do that one more. They could have tried to do Sting or the Fiend, and then ended it.
Well, and that's the one thing that both of us sitting together watching it were thinking is, all right,
I was so
is there a window open?
Is there anything?
Yes.
Like we waited till that final WWE
lower third
network
yes.
thing came on. We're like, damn,
Yeah.
really? Because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I kind of want to see something happen. Like we've been so conditioned to want something extra with wrestling, because we've gotten it so many times that we got spoiled. And now anything that happens, we're always thinking in the back of our mind, well, something's got to happen, because it always used to.
Yes.
There's always something that happened. Now, not a side question, a question on topic for once. Now, is that a nostalgia that should never go away?
The surprise factor?
The something happening, like at the end of a pay-per-view, and something should happen, not just them holding the title up on the ramp or something like that.
Well, I think NXT has done a good job with the lower third tease for a lot of their main, whether it's backstab with Ciampa, or people coming back or something like that. NXT has done the lower third really well, and that's, I think, a part of the reason that we expect it, because we see the lower third and it's implanted in the back of your head. They've done it to us recently. Maybe it can happen again.
And it's also, we go back to New Japan and how someone comes out and is the next challenger for a title. But I'm not saying that it just has to be a challenger. It's just something happening. I know you can only bring so many people back or something like that, but at least set up an angle so you don't have to do it the next night. At least do something that isn't like just ending it. And then you have to try and pick it up and have, at least if you do something like that and actually have it end with some shenanigans or something, that already gives you the opening for the next night or for
whatever.
Night, or whatever it is, or Wednesday night, whatever it is. That already gives you that story. Now you don't have to fumble around and like try and piece things together and do like random matches. Like you already have this. You already have one of your main stories. It doesn't really happen at all though. There's no real shenanigans ever.
Not on the main roster.
No, and that's what's missing. Like that is like, even for mid-card stories or anything.
Yeah, the surprise
Just
comeback, the
different.
surprise betrayal, the surprise anything, aside from Mania and Rumble, they'll pull some stuff from Mania, and of course Rumble, that's a given.
That's a different beast though.
Yeah.
The Rumble is a story in itself. It's an over-the-top battle royal for the number one contendership for the title at WrestleMania. That's already self-explanatory. You just get the surprises just for fun because they've spoiled us again in the past. So now they have to keep doing it. So all of us old weirdos can pop when fucking the Hurricane come out or Brooklyn Brawler fucking comes out. Just someone obscure.
I'll tell you what, I popped huge when the Godwins came out. I was shocked to see them.
Well, it was that whole Survivor Series team.
Yeah.
Well, it was the Godwins, Rikishi, Savio Vega, and Taker.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I'm not positive.
It was weird,
but the whole BSK crew coming out with the Godfather and all that, like that was cool to see all them. The one thing I'll say, and I think a lot of people said it, and hell, even my wife, we watched it back the next day, and she
put her through that torture.
Well, she grew up liking The Undertaker as well, so she wanted to see.
Fair enough.
And she watched it, and all the legends came out. They did the promo, come back, and Vince is in the ring. She goes, what was the point of all the guys coming out if they were just going to leave the ring? And I said, well, that's one thing you and I said when they did that was...
Well, you said one thing and I said something different. You said the same thing she said, and I said they're just there for support. And my reasoning behind that was that they left the ring because if the Fiend comes out, he's not beating up 15 guys.
Yeah.
And The Undertaker. Which that would be a massive rub for him if he was able to beat up 15,
especially of who was in the ring.
But that's a little bit unbelievable.
Yeah, but I get it. They were just there to show.
They wanted you get the ring yourself when you're leaving. You're always giving it yourself. Like if someone retires after a match, even if they lose, they're still the last one out of the ring.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a show of respect.
And that's why Vince left the ring and let Taker do what he did.
And you can't have someone else there. It takes the focus, some of the focus on what you want everyone to focus on.
Yes. Yeah.
So if Vince was in the background, part of your mind or part of your eye would be like, well, why the fuck is Vince still there?
Yeah.
And it would be taking away from what you want to see. So it all makes sense. And they just wanted to bring all the people out just to be like, well, here's a blast from the past who was a part of Taker's storyline or story career.
Yes.
Here's 30 years of some Taker.
Yes.
And you get random people to come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the best part, which a lot of people may have disliked or liked certain things, but I think the one thing everyone agrees on is the Paul Bearer point was phenomenal. The
Undertaker.
The hologram was so cool. It was cool to see that.
Jesus
Christ!
He's opened up a casket that you can't close, my friend. All pun intended. I don't even think that's a pun. I think I just made it up.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Well, my Undertaker. I do a pretty good falsetto.
I'm surprised you got your voice that high. I'll give it to you on that.
I know. I could do Savage. I could do Paul Bearer. I mean, I'm no limit.
That's true. You have a varied range. I'll give it to you.
Very range?
Varied.
Oh, varied.
Yeah.
I thought you said have a very range.
No.
You, my friend, have a very range. Thank you.
Let's move on to the actual wrestling that went on in Survivor Series.
I think it was. I'll
go ahead.
I'll start off by saying it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I think a lot of people came out of Sunday feeling that way. Of course, I don't want to touch on the negatives, which were both Survivor Series matches. The men's, and I don't
think they were negatives. I really don't. I think
the women's.
I think
and how it ended.
I mean, how it ended, maybe, but I think some people got the show out. I think Liv Morgan did really well, and she was able to showcase Bianca Belair, of course, and she's starting to get more and more spotlight. I thought she was good. Peyton Royce had a really good showing, and yes. Lacey Evans even. I think the match itself, I think you got some really cool spots. And, of course, Nia Jax did a leg drop, so that was cool. But I think there was a lot of good storytelling, and a lot of people benefited from that match in the ring. Even Baszler got to, showcase. And I think that her choking out Bianca Belair and her actually passing out as she was going to.
That wasn't
I thought that was a really
cool
good
spot.
I thought that was
Yes.
a nice touch.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good way to protect Belair while also still making Baszler look badass. So I don't even think there was too many negatives. I think Lana after having her special and how she's treated and all that, and then have her do literally nothing but still be the winner. At least have her do something. At least give her like the credit that she won it and she did something. Like that would be, if you're going to pull a negative, that was my negative.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the men's, whether the Seth Rollins, whether he wanted to fight or compete against Riddle or not, and sacrificing himself, that was the word coming out of Survivor Series, that he never wanted to work with Riddle after the comments his wife made about Becky. That was rolled in on Monday morning, and a lot of people talking about that. So that's why he sacrificed himself, so he didn't have to be in the match with Riddle. Whatever. I mean, it was a weird spot, but okay, I really don't really care about that. Raw winning, I think, was a McMahon giving the finger to everyone who says SmackDown's better than Raw, and he's going to put Raw over and sweep them at that. So it wasn't bad. But I think although you did pull a story, they did pull a story for SmackDown out of it, and that was Jey Uso. Yes.
That he couldn't lead his team, and which kind of set up for later on when he came out and helped Roman beat Drew McIntyre. So they did, as much as it was, or it looks like a big FU to SmackDown, at least they were able to salvage it and they pulled something from it. Yeah. I mean, for once, I'm pulling positives when you're pulling negatives. This doesn't always happen. So I've either rubbed off on you or you've rubbed off on me. Either way. Well, let's go with that match then. Roman Reigns and McIntyre, I think, exceeded my expectation. Not that I don't think either guy is good, because they are very good. I think where Roman's at right now, I think that elevates his matches that much more, because it's a lot of the same stuff. Mm-hmm. He's just able to put more into it. And he's supposed to be a badass, and he's supposed to be putting people through tables. That's the heel thing to do. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the bad guy thing to do. So I think that just automatically makes his matches better. Like, I think that him having this and being like, we were always told that he was the best. And he was the guy. He was very humble about it. He would say he's the guy. Mm-hmm. This is his yard. Yeah. But it always felt kind of scripted. Now this doesn't feel as scripted when he's talking. Yes, he's still saying the same thing, but it feels like he means it now. And he's not just being told to say.
Well, and I hear a lot of talent when they do, whether they do interviews, and again, of course, they're being fed what to say when they do them. But a lot of people are saying, and insiders are saying that this is Roman being Roman. He is who he is, and this is how he is, and this is legitimately how he thinks.
It's probably the typical wrestling thing. Like, this is him turned up to 11.
Why did it take this long to get this Roman then? If this was the guy, and why did it take the handcuffs off? Why did it take this long? WWE was saying, he's your guy.
What's that?
This is the guy. Why did it take that long?
What's that old adage? You don't sell merch as a heel.
Yeah.
And Roman Reigns sold a hell of a lot of shirts to some young kids.
I would like to see the numbers on his shirts now.
I mean, that's the thing.
Like arrive, wreck everyone, whatever.
But that doesn't appeal to a kid. So I think he loses a lot of that. And I don't think people our age and I don't think they're buying a lot of WWE shirts. Like, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's more of the PG era thing. So it's more younger crowd buying shirts. So that's why they're buying. That's why Bailey the Hugger t-shirts, they were so big. I mean, I feel like this Roman, it took him so long because they were making money off him. I mean, they're still making money off him. He's still the top draw for the company, and that's evident with the outcome of that match. But they did not make Drew look weak by any means, because it was a slugfest. He kicked out of 4 spears and even a spear through the wall.
Yes,
after going through the table.
Yeah,
no, they didn't make that. Didn't hurt. They cheated to win, so nothing hurt Drew.
Exactly. They arced it perfectly as far as the story in the ring went. Everyone came out looking very good.
That whole thing fit a lot better than I think Roman Orton would have.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it would have been really good, I don't think it would have been as good as Roman and McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two feeding off each other, like, that's what you want. Like, that's always what you want. Like, those two, like, that could be the quote unquote WrestleMania main event match. Like, that could
they kept saying it, and I
know they were saying it, but I mean, for that instance, that was definitely, if that would have main evented Mania, that would have been a lot better than some of the other stuff that we've gotten. Like, anything that Brock's main evented, that would have been better than that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Most recently, absolutely. The one thing I came away with from Survivor Series is the New Day and the Street Profits were like, first of all, Street Profits made me want to run through a wall after that promo. It was so good. They got you so fired up.
It's almost like it is like the changing of the guard almost.
Yes.
It's almost like the torch. It's not handed yet, but you know where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's always those second people vying for that spot, like all those other tag teams. But like, I think we know where the torch is going. I think the Profits are the future of the tag team division for all of WWE.
And I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to get to a different location, and you know where I'm going with this, because we had this conversation watching the pay-per-view.
I tweeted it.
Yeah. So as we're watching this, the match happens, an amazing match, and I still, even though Drew and Roman were great, I still think the tag match was match of the night.
Yeah. So here's the thing: the on paper, the Survivor Series matches, when it's brand versus brand, they don't mean anything. They don't there's no title changes. Like, you're not taking you're not losing a record or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're winning bragging rights for your show. Okay, so that's
whatever that means.
Whatever that is, pride.
Yeah.
You're wrestling for pride. But they made that match feel like it was a title match. Like, there was
like it was title for title. That's what it felt like.
It felt like there was a meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in a meaningless match, there was meaning.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like there was that. And I know it's everyone involved, the characters involved, and how well they put everything together, but they made something that shouldn't have been anything into like a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
Like a one-off, you're not like, oh, well, this is going to be great. Like,
yes. But you tweeted it out, you said it.
I believe it.
The tweet was, and I agree with you when you said it, was the New Day and Street Profits greater than Bucks FTR.
Yes. And I believe that.
Yes.
I believe that for what I said. I mean, you knew going into Bucks FTR, you know that there's going to be, they're fighting for something. They're winning or losing. So there's the meaning. Like, they want to see who's the best. of that company.
Yeah.
I know they say best in the world, but over on the other side, I mean, they told a story. Like, didn't have the story beforehand. They had a little bit of tease in between, but leading up to it was great. And then them being able to actually put together, like, this was like bragging rights, but at like the highest level.
And that's the funny thing is you take a story like Bucks FTR that's been building for 5+ years, and everyone waiting for it, everyone clamoring for this match. And don't get us wrong, it was a great match those guys put on.
But it wasn't even the best AEW tag match ever. Like, you wanted that. Like, they needed that to be the best tag match ever.
Do you think it's fair to those guys for fans to hold it to that standard early?
No. I don't think. Well, no. What do you mean so early? Like,
so, like, it's only
for their first match.
Exactly.
Yeah, for their first. Yeah, but their first match. You need to have the greatest match of all time for the build up and everything that went into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys were on separate companies and you were clamoring for this match, and now it's actually going to get to happen. It's got to be the best tag team match of all time. You have to make it that, but they couldn't even make it better than Bucks Page Omega.
Yeah, that was definitely better for sure.
So by it falling short, I mean, no, I don't think it's too early. Just if their next one's better or the best of all time, then fine. They got it.
Yeah.
But as of right now, for that match, it wasn't the greatest of all time.
And I think when we started,
and it wasn't a bad match. It was not a bad match whatsoever.
No.
I think there was parts of the match that were like, all right, well, they're kind of rushing some things, and there were some parts of the match that weren't perfect. But I mean, when it all boils down to it, it was a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't a better match than New Day and Profits.
Yeah. And that's where we started going.
Not to mention fucking Montez Ford's that blockbuster. Like, he was literally, there was 2 people, and he had to get, that's 6 foot on top of 6. That's probably what, 10 foot?
Mm-hmm.
You got 6 foot and half a person.
Yeah.
10 foot almost. He had to get up over it. That was fucking crazy.
To grab him perfectly, and all 3 of them
like
everything
was perfect.
Yeah.
That. Dude, that was insane.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, that not trying to downgrade AEW, but looking at apples to apples, the 2 top tag teams in AEW versus the 2 top tag teams in WWE at this point right now.
Yeah, I'd say that's
fair. Is basically what you're looking at. And then going forward, look, Private Party, I'm going to keep saying it, is a knockoff of the Profits. I don't
think they're a knockoff.
Not really.
No.
Maybe that's the wrong word. Knockoff's the wrong word.
Definitely the wrong
but
word.
They're compared to,
but
yes.
that's not either team's fault.
No. I'm saying just I think fans.
Well, that's ignorance.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
They're different tag teams. It's not either their fault that they're compared. I mean,
not at all.
It's almost not fair to the 2 that you're comparing them just because of, they have a similar gimmick and they look alike.
Mm-hmm.
Or they look similar. Their colors the same. It's just ignorant. I think if you're going to compare talent-wise, and if you're going to go, okay, top team, so let's say New Day top team and AEW top team would be Bucks. We'll just say it's the Bucks just for the sake of argument. And then you go next depth. You say Street Profits. And you say next depth, FTR. Okay, so it's all pretty much evenly matched. But then when you get the Usos back, you go Usos in there. And then the Usos would be Santana Ortiz who's another tag team Omega and Page, but they're not a tag team anymore. And then you got the Lucha Brothers, and then you got
Best Friends.
So I think the depth
and
for AEW,
Jurassic Express,
and then you have SCU. So I think the depth and then you got Top Flight that just got signed.
You could just keep going. That list.
I think the depth is there for that tag team division in AEW. On the other side, WWE just doesn't care about tag team wrestling. They prove that they can do tag team wrestling when they want to, and there's been a lot of different cases of that. Like if you go New Day with The Bar.
Yeah.
I mean, those were always really good. I mean, they know how to do tag team wrestling. They don't focus on it, and they don't have the depth. Now, if they added tag teams from NXT, now you change the story altogether. So now you equal a little bit. If you're going to add NXT into there, because you got Undisputed Era, you got Red Dragon, you got Fish and O'Reilly, or Fish and Roderick Strong, and then you got the tag team champions right now. You got Birch and Oney Lorcan,
who are amazing.
I mean, the depth gets there.
Yes.
And I don't even know, now that I'm talking, I don't even know what the fuck, where we started. How did I even get here? Like, seriously, what am I trying to defend here? What did you say that got me to that? Do you even remember?
We were ranking and going AEW, comparing AEW.
You were
FTR.
you were about to say that AEW isn't comparable to WWE. Still.
As far as top talent, like the number ones, like we were saying.
Well, that's where I got to. I think WWE and AEW matches up really well against WWE for tag teams.
Yes,
they match up very well.
Absolutely.
The rest, not so much.
Yeah.
So if you were to bundle it up as a whole and you were just to add, okay, the women's division, obviously we know which one's better. I mean, you got the main card, you got the title card. There's more. There's just more for WWE.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got Styles, Rollins, Roman, you got McIntyre.
Yeah.
I mean, who else is in the main title picture most of the time? But even
Orton.
Orton, right there, you got, AEW doesn't match up as well. I mean, mid-card, they probably match up a little bit better.
Yes.
But still not as good because there's more there for WWE.
Well, and that's the thing we've always said is a detriment to AEW is that heavyweight division. When you're talking about either Lance Archer, Jericho, Moxley.
I think the main thing for AEW is they don't have enough time.
Yes. And that's the other thing. Signing a lot of these people that they have been signing.
They're trying to jam so
recently.
much into just for the 2 hours that you get, how much they jam in. And it's a lot of it's quality and they do a really good job. But imagine if you were able to space that out and you were able to decompress a little bit and actually run some well thought out, like get some really good promos in there. I mean, everything seems so rushed because they have very little time and they have to get everybody, all those top people, they have to get on every show. Like if you think about it, like they're getting Moxley in there, they're getting Omega in there, they're getting Jericho in there, they're getting the Inner Circle in there, they're getting the tag teams, either 2 tag teams or more. They're trying to squeeze in a little bit of the women's division. They sprinkle that
and the Dark Order,
and they got to get they've been getting the Dark Order and more.
Yeah,
I mean, Orange Cassidy. They try to get. And these are the people that show up regularly just for a 2-hour show.
Mm-hmm.
Like they need more. They need another day. They don't need more time onto that show.
They need another hour to 2 hour show.
Here's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to go to 3 hours, would they fall to the same fate as Raw and dip off in that third hour?
I don't think they would.
I don't think they would either.
No. I think
they'd be a lot better off with the 3-hour show. As much as everybody says, God, I hate the 3-hour show. They hate that 3-hour show. If they were to do it and do a 3-hour show, I don't think you'd have as much blowback. I don't think there would be any at all. And you'd be able to space things out better.
Yeah, and I think
you can use that first hour to elevate.
I was going to say to the WCW mold of using that first hour or first couple segments for one thing, whether it's the women's division, whether it's tag, whatever.
But then does AEW fall into that same WCW like mentality? Like, okay, they're just WCW light, or they're just doing everything WCW. I mean, that's one way to look at it, I guess.
They're always going to get that.
I think they will
always going to get that.
I think they will too, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Especially with who they're hiring and whatnot. I mean, Shivani, Jim Ross.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right. So while we're on AEW and while you said Jim Ross, I'm going to bring up what I saw and what AEW, what TNT are promoting. And Bill, if you could bring the graphic up for me. So they're promoting this Christmas Story table read with Jim Ross as the narrator of the Christmas Story and Cody Rhodes playing the dad of the Christmas Story and Brandy Rhodes playing the mom in the Christmas Story. And they want fans to vote for all these parts as they do a table read, because if you haven't realized by now, the Christmas Story plays for 24 hours, starting Christmas Eve all the way through Christmas on TNT and TBS.
You've been under some sort of fucking rock for your entire life. Like literally my entire life, this has been going on.
Yes, yeah. And you look at it and
it was the worst. It was the worst. I hated it as a kid because I hated that movie.
What?
I hated that movie as a kid. And it ran.
Man.
Yes, I know.
What?
I hated it. I still don't really like it now. I don't think it stacks up even in my top 3 for Christmas movies. Not even in
how
because
dare you?
What?
I can't believe I could sit next to you and do this shit. I don't know if I can anymore.
You can.
This changes
Because you
exactly how you look to me. I can't even.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So anyway,
Go ahead.
running that for 24 hours just killed me because there's so many other Christmas movies that I would rather be seeing. I think because my freaking dad's side of the family ran into the fucking ground every Christmas Eve. I was just like, I had enough of it. I can't do it anymore. Play something else. Take it off the TV.
I'm enabling my audio so the stream can hear me. I'm going to bring the graphic back up and just move it over, Joe.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, by the way. So anyway, back to, I'm not even going to address what we just found out here because I'm thoroughly disgusted. But the thing is,
I'll drink to that.
You're voting on who else you want in the cast. And
can I just say this is just a weird idea just to begin with? Like this
having AEW do a table read of one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time. But the thing is, who they have, Jim Ross as the narrator.
I'm checked out immediately.
Me too. And like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite movies, period, not just Christmas movies. Brandy and Cody, I get it. And it's TBS, TNT, of course, Dynamite's on it. This is just...
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, from a network standpoint, sure, let's promote what we do every year, but let's promote it through. And I think these characters will do a good enough job and do it enough justice. But it just seems like it's going to be weird. And I think it's just going to be one of these segments just like, all right.
Yeah. And is it a segment or is this actually going to be a special that they're going to expect people to watch?
Or are they just going to run it intermittently throughout Dynamite where you'll get a scene here, you'll get a scene there.
Which... Probably the most logical and probably the way
like the vignettes that they did with but this is a live table read, isn't it?
I haven't heard live.
Well, if you're voting for the characters to play, wouldn't it have to be live if you're going through voting right now? Or are they gonna wait till the votes end and do it overnight and tape it and then I mean they could do whatever the fuck they want, but it seems like it would be live.
The way they put the tweet out and the social media post out was that we are doing a table read of the movie with AEW stars. Don't say anything about live, but they do want you to vote, and the voting is all over the place. They want Ralphie.
Who cares? Don't vote for this.
No.
Why are we promoting this? Like we want you to go.
No, I just thought it was very, very out there, and I don't know. And it goes along with the Shaq thing.
I think it goes more with the having Jay and Silent Bob at like one of your first show. I think it's more along the lines of that. Like this has no like I know like AEW can make anything non-wrestling cool and it can make it a part of that's real cool, man. But
keep going. I just love that voice. Go ahead. Go.
But I mean, I think this has no part of this is no. Don't put it in wrestling. Like this goes like, okay, everything's cool, but this is kind of stupid.
There is a limit.
Just have Matt Hardy as every goddamn character. If you're going to do it, just have Matt Hardy do every character and have him, because he'd be the only one that could pull it off. He's the only multi-character wrestler out there besides maybe Bray Wyatt, but Bray Wyatt's only got 2.
Yeah.
3 maybe if you want to have rocking chair Bray. But Matt Hardy's like 20,000 different people.
Yes.
Like just have the Broken Universe do it. Just have them do it.
Which would be a lot better.
Just like a
lot better.
Just have them do it at fucking Hardy Compound and do the reenactment of. That's what they should have done. This is a lot. Our idea is a lot better than their idea.
Yes.
Don't have any of those guys anywhere near it.
No.
Just let Hardy take care of it.
Just for that idea, I took the picture from off of Covering Joe.
Okay. I agree with that. I like that.
Right.
So. We'll move on from that. Just something that I don't think they need to do. I think it crosses the line. I think the Vegas vignettes and the Inner Circle in Vegas was awesome. And touching on the Hangover and spoofing that, I thought all of that was gold.
So what's to say that this isn't going to be different? Like this isn't going to be as good as that. Like
it's a table read. It's literally them sitting at the table reading the script. That's what a table read is. So why is that going to be good?
It's not. Matt Hardy would have been able to do it justice.
Yes. So from one thing that pissed me off to the thing that should piss everybody off is this piece of audio that we're going to play. And Bill, if you want to play it right now, we will.
Well, let's give a preface for.
Okay.
Evidently today, Wrestling Observer Radio Live or whatever the fuck they're called, the Dave Meltzer special. Alvarez was on there talking about someone he knew that had leukemia, but said it wasn't Roman Reigns leukemia or whatnot.
So yeah, you can just listen.
Play the audio, and then we'll
go ahead, Bill.
We'll discuss.
But hear me out. It reminds me of my buddy Wang, because Wang had leukemia, and he did not have the Roman Reigns leukemia. He had. It was bad. Bad. But he is now a leukemia survivor. And when you talk to Wang about being a leukemia survivor, and you're like, man, what a fighter, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's like, dude, I didn't do anything. I laid in the bed, and they did all the work. But hear me out.
So, how do I start?
Go for it. However you're feeling. Go ahead.
To go and say not Roman Reigns leukemia. First of all, asshole, how do you know what the fuck Roman Reigns went through? And I'm not a big Roman Reigns fan, but to go and say Roman Reigns leukemia like it's not real.
This
and
touches closer to home for...
It does touch close to home for me, and that's why I guess it affects me as much as I do. My wife battled ovarian cancer, to which we lost our first baby when she was pregnant. But to say that and downgrade someone's cancer is a piece of shit, it's lower than a piece of shit move. And this guy that he knows really battled it, but he didn't do anything. He just sat there in the bed, and they did all the work.
Good for him. I mean, good for that guy.
And I'm glad, yeah. And I'm
good
not, yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that he got through it, and it was as easy as he makes it sound. That's great. But to come and say and talk about someone's cancer that you have no fucking idea what the fuck you're talking about is a pussy move, and it's absolute garbage that someone would let it come out of their mouth.
Not only that, but not to even after it comes out and after you're quoted on it and whatnot, to just be like, oh shit, I messed up. This isn't what I meant to say. I meant to say, even if what he meant to say shouldn't have been said anyway, to just at least have an apology or something where, look, I didn't mean for this to, and I don't feel that way, but to, when people call him out, to be like, no, and to deny that he was wrong with what he said and how he said it. I mean, that's like the biggest fuck you. Like, no, dude, like, you're an asshole. Just admit that you're an asshole. Like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Look, and have a fucking apology ready. But to be on your guard and be like, no, this, you're wrong. And I'll tell you why you're wrong, to be mad that I said this. Like, dude, own up, be a man, fucking be a human being, and stop being a fucking prick.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna move on from that because
it's just like, dude, you're working for Meltzer, like, cool. You're a fanboy. You're an anti-WWE or whatever the fuck you are. Just like, go be that. Don't talk about shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just go be fucking a cheerleader for fucking 5-star matches over on AEW and just fucking sit the real talk out.
Yeah. So I do want to move on and make this a little bit lighter. I want to move on to
fucking, well, my Undertaker.
I was actually talking about moving forward with what AEW has coming up with Winter is Coming.
What does that mean?
Well, that's right. God damn it.
I know what it means. I just wanted to fuck with you.
Yeah, so Winter is Coming.
It's about Jon Snow, right?
It's
in the Abominable Snowman.
Well, hey, I'm surprised you knew the character name. I'm proud,
hey, man.
But
I forgot what the TV name was.
Joe is not a Game of Thrones fan, so but he does know somewhat about it.
Evidently, I knew the main character, but I forgot the name of the show.
So we have Moxley and Omega coming up for Winter is Coming, which is a throwback to when he first came in, and that was the feud.
I think they should have they should have named it Jack Frost and had Michael Keaton do an appearance. But not him as the snowman, just him as multiplicity.
Oh my god, man. You ruined everything. God.
But all the characters would have been multiplicity. Every wrestler would have had 3 or 4.
So again, we're just casting Matt Hardy.
No. This one you can have fun with. Like, you can have Jericho come out as like flamboyant Jericho, regular Jericho, and then really dumb Jericho. I think you could get behind. I mean, in today's society that we live in, and that we couldn't do those characters. Like, it had to be something different. It'd have to be like TikTok, someone, regular someone, and I don't know what else is like gamer someone. Like, that's how you keep it current. Like,
Are we still talking about multiplicity?
oh, we're not supposed to be.
No. Omega against Moxley. I literally almost completely forgot who he was wrestling.
He's wrestling Michael Keaton.
But
So we're all convinced that Joe is the number 4 of our group.
the number 4?
There's
If you're-
3 of us.
If you're
You
going to
thought
talk
it Lance
multiplicity,
was, you idiot.
you know, like when you make a copy of a copy and it's not quite as clear.
Yeah, yeah. You think I'm the dumb one,
Exactly.
Mister? I think lamps can have a table reading. You asshole.
All right, let's not reference things that the listeners and people watching don't know.
I'm just sticking up for myself because of my great ideas. But continue. Moxley versus Omega.
Yes.
The cleaner.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I still can't get behind Omega. I just don't think he's just not a character. I just think he's a very, very, very good wrestler. But I don't think, like, I'm going to be honest. I didn't like the cleaner in New Japan. I didn't like that whole gimmick. Like, I don't like his
But
gimmick.
you like what he did in the ring.
I like what he did in the ring, and I think that's where he excels. I think his in-ring work is fucking top-notch. I think it's maybe the best, or one of. There's probably like 1 and 1A column. That's a long column, but his character and who, like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I at least get Moxley. He's the tough guy. He's cool. He's an like, I get it. I'm not saying I'm a fan of it, but I don't get the Omega, like, cool. Like, I come out with 2 girls with brooms, and
I don't like that.
and I come out with my
I don't like that
glasses.
part of the gimmick.
Like, he looks like a knockoff of someone that Vince would create. Like, he looks like, or he could be a Vince creation. Like, a mid-card creation. That's his character. Like, I don't see that as main event.
All right, so is the reason you see it like that is because we are programmed as fans coming up through the Attitude Era in the WWE, is that you didn't have to be great in the ring, but you had to be very good on the mic to survive in that era. And he is exact opposite. Does that bother you because of that?
No. I think today's world, though, you have to be a really good hybrid of both to be that.
I'll agree with that.
Like, to keep the storylines going, yes, I'm a great champion and I can have great matches, but those great matches they're gonna fall away sometimes. You got to carry it with your promo work.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's great that you're good in the ring, but you got to carry everything you don't do in the ring, all the stories that you got to set up. Like, how many people are that good in the ring that can match up with you? Like, that can be a viable threat to your championship? Not many, because he's great in the ring.
You're talking about on the AEW roster?
Just period. Like, how many people can stack up in the ring with him? Not many, but I mean, for him to get truly over, he's got to have it on the mic too. Like, because if someone can destroy him on the mic, then I think that they should beat him in the ring. Like, if they make you look like a fool, it's cool that you're a cool wrestler, but I mean, if you can't back up anything, what you're doing with your word, then I think you lose a step, or you lose a point, or you lose a star. If we're in the Tokyo
Losing anything else?
If we're in the Tokyo Dome.
Okay. And the other big event recently announced is War Games.
That makes sense.
Yes, which I mean, it's hard not to with how good NXT has done.
What Michael Keaton movie could that be? The Beetlejuice?
Will you forget about Michael Keaton?
I'll never forget about Michael Keaton. You fucking crazy? Get the hell out of here. Who's the fucking asshole now? Forget about Michael Keaton.
Well, look,
talking about Batman. What the fuck?
What I'm really excited for War Games is the women's War Games.
I'm just excited for that because I think that I loved it in WCW. Like, I loved War Games, and I think they're doing it justice when they brought it back.
Yeah.
I just love the pay-per-view. I kind of like gimmick pay-per-views. I'm not one of those, like, I like if they're not done like every fucking month.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the gimmick pay-per-view. Like, I like Hell in a Cells. I like Elimination Chambers. I like those big gimmick matches. I love the War Game match. I like multiple rings and cages. Just give me what I want.
Yeah. Obviously.
World War III. Give me some World War III, motherfucker. God, that would have been great to fucking. That would have. This is the time for that, or is that too time sensitive? Like you can't have a pay per view called World War III because there might be a World War III.
If you had to bet right now, who's would do World War III? And obviously, obviously WWE has the rights to the name, but something like that in AEW or NXT, who do you think would do it first?
I don't care, honestly.
Who would you rather see do it with that roster? Put it that way.
I'd like to see AEW do it.
Okay.
I'd like to see AEW do a World War III because I think WWE has enough. Like, I think AEW needs more, like, cool gimmick stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be great. And I think they have the amount of people, or they can, like, I think they have the ability to introduce more.
Yes.
Like, different. Like, not just bring back old time. Like, it would all feel new and fresh.
I think it would too. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, AEW. But I mean, those fucking like War Games, like sign me up for all of them. Like I love those fucking cool pay-per-views like that.
So I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
How long before Cody books himself as Jimmy the King?
Yeah. I mean, he's not already?
Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that because he books himself as everything at this point. So anything's impossible for Cody.
He just wants to keep himself out of that main title because he's afraid of the backlash. So he's going to book himself a match with Shaq. He's always got to have the buzz around him. It's just that.
And we didn't talk about that on our show. We talked about it on Fallout with heels, pops, and chair shots.
Who we lost to.
Yeah, and
we're not too proud.
Ups to them. They beat us in the second round.
They fucking rigged it. They had their family and friends call in. They voted fucking anti pops and chair shots. Fucking had her 5 burner accounts, and she fucking voted in heavy favor of the heel pops. I mean, it was a fix. They rigged it. They rigged it coming in. That's why we can't have them all on again. I mean, they played the numbers well. Congratulations, boys.
Yeah, but so the rubber match.
The fact of the matters were what got them, I think. How many mischief throughout fucking 150 facts of the matters.
A lot of facts of the matters, for sure. But I think they were just louder. I think
that's pretty much all
our
he had.
points are better.
I think that's all he had. He was doing the dice move too much.
So a rubber match will be coming. We don't know how, we don't know when, but a rubber match will be coming to settle this.
We will all be wearing rubber.
No, that's not how that works.
That's not how that works.
No.
We're not going to be wearing rubber.
No rubber whatsoever.
Not on the soles of your shoes?
I'm not wearing shoes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Are you wearing shoes?
Yes,
you are wearing shoes. So anyway,
why don't you tell me what kind of shoes you're wearing?
I think the confusion is where we're going to end this show. Make sure you tune in next week for, well, whatever we're going to talk about, whether it be Monday Night Raw or actually will be the day before winter is coming. So I'm sure we
should talk about Black Friday shopping. We can mix that in there.
Before? Like now or after?
After.
Okay, cool. So we hope you enjoyed the show or somewhat of the show. Make sure to follow us here on Twitch or
go watch Batman.
On our YouTube page. You can find all our links and platforms where the podcast and where this show will air, Linktree/215 Wrestling. And
head over to What a Maneuver, grab our merch. We got a new Wawa inspired Brotherly Love wrestling shirt.
Gotta have BLW.
Oh, you gotta have that Wawa. If you're living in this area, the Philadelphia, the tri-state area, you know fucking Wawa, and you know us. Go get yourself a shirt.
Yes.
Best quality shirts.
Yes, by far.
Just as an interjection, the What a Maneuver link is on the Twitch page, as well as all the other links to all the social media and everything.
Yes, thank you, Bill. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Please come again next week and join us and enjoy the show. Come on, man. Are you fucking 12? Jesus. Get your mind out of the goddamn gutter.
I'm not the only one that thought that was a weird way to join us.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching and listening, and we'll be talking to you.